You've seen her in movies, right? On postcards, and of course, standing tall right there in New York Harbor. The Statue of Liberty is arguably one of the most recognizable monuments on the planet. But, her actual journey to get there? It is a completely wild story. We're talking global geography, absolutely mind-blowing engineering, and a really powerful message of hope. So let's unpack it all in this explainer.
Okay, so let's dive into a massive mystery right off the bat. Did you know the Statue of Liberty was actually built twice? I know, it sounds totally impossible. How in the world do you construct a towering copper giant, tear it all down, ship it across the ocean, and then somehow rebuild it? Well, we're going to find out.
Chapter 1. A monumental idea. Our story kicks off with a brilliantly visionary French sculptor named Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. Back in 1871, he travels across the Atlantic, and the exact moment he sails into New York Harbor and spots Bedloe's Island, it just clicks. He knew instantly, right then and there, that this tiny little island was the absolute perfect stage for his grand vision. He wanted to create a massive monument to serve as an unforgettable present from France to America, really just remembering their long-standing friendship.
So Bartholdi heads back to Paris and conceptualizes the statue as a woman named Liberty. And this wasn't just some random name he picked out of a hat, it was a very deliberate choice. He was literally crafting a physical beacon, Liberty enlightening the world, to act as a profound symbol of freedom for the new world.
Moving right along to Chapter 2, Engineering a Giant.
Okay, so how do you actually build this thing? To turn a sketch into a colossal reality, Bartholdi gathers an absolute dream team in a massive Parisian workshop. And their approach was really revolutionary for the time. Instead of just trying to sculpt a solid block of stone, they built this incredibly intricate skeleton out of strong steel. Then, they meticulously shaped a skin of gleaming copper and secured the whole shebang together using these flexible iron straps.
And just to put the sheer size of this engineering marvel into perspective, Bartholdi designed her to be so structurally sound that visitors could literally climb up inside of her. It took 168 steps just to reach the crown so you could look out over the harbor. That is a serious climb.
Now, every single detail on her was highly intentional. Take what she's holding, for instance. In her right hand, she has a torch raised high up in the air to warmly welcome people to America. And in her left hand, she holds a tablet inscribed with July 4, 1776, forever linking her directly to the Declaration of Independence.
But of course, every great project hits a snag. Chapter 3. The Funding Crisis.
You see, paying for a giant steel and copper statue, plus its massive stone pedestal, quickly became a really huge problem. It's actually a staggering contrast. Over in France, the atmosphere was completely electric. Paris officially finished the statue in 1884 with massive celebrations and parades. But in America, well, the money had totally run out. People were losing interest, and the base over on Bedloe's Island was just sitting there, totally unfinished. So they needed some pretty creative solutions. To raise cash, they actually shipped her torch-bearing arm to Philadelphia way back in 1876, and they displayed her massive head at the Paris World's Fair, charging people just to climb inside. But the real heroes of this story were everyday Americans. A major New York newspaper stepped up, launched this massive campaign, and people from all over the country chipped in. Even young children were sending in their pennies, successfully crowdfunding the unfinished pedestal. It's just a brilliant historical moment.
Money secured. Which brings us to Chapter 4, Across the Atlantic.
So with the pedestal back on track, a completely new logistical nightmare pops up. How on earth do you transport a colossal copper woman from Paris all the way to New York? Well, the answer turned out to be exactly 214 massive wooden crates. Engineers had the agonizing job of taking Liberty completely apart, meticulously cataloging every single piece of her skin and skeleton. Honestly, the logistics were entirely unprecedented. Once she was all disassembled and packed up, those 214 crates were hauled overland by train and then carefully loaded onto a massive ship to brave the rough waters of the Atlantic. By the time that ship finally reached New York in 1885, let me tell you, the whole country was buzzing with excitement.
Once the pedestal was finally ready, the steel skeleton was raised piece by piece, and the copper skin was riveted right back into place. As one observer perfectly put it at the time, Liberty was put back together like a giant puzzle. Which, of course, answers our big mystery from the beginning, right? This giant statue really was built twice.
Which leads us perfectly into Chapter 5, A Symbol for All. If we just take a step back from all the crazy engineering and the frantic fundraising, we can really see the beautiful culmination of a decades-long journey. I mean, going from a mere idea in 1871 all the way to the final dedication in 1886. Boats absolutely filled the harbor, President Grover Cleveland gave a speech, and Bartholdi himself had the honor of unveiling Liberty's gleaming face to a massively roaring crowd.
Now, for millions of immigrants pulling into the harbor after weeks at sea, coming to begin new lives in America, this wasn't just some cool engineering marvel. It was literally the very first thing they saw. She became a powerful, deeply welcoming beacon, a true masterpiece of symbolism representing their ultimate hopes and dreams for the future.
Today, her legacy is absolutely undeniable. She welcomes millions of visitors every single year, and she's spectacularly celebrated every 4th of July, when fireworks just light up the sky over the harbor. She remains a truly unforgettable sight, standing firm as a lasting symbol of the American ideal.
We followed her incredible journey from a simple sketch in Paris to a towering beacon right there in New York Harbor. But, symbols naturally evolve alongside the people they watch over. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder today. As time marches on and she continues to enlighten the world, what new hopes and dreams will liberty symbolize for the next generation? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep asking those big questions.